Hello and welcome to the press release. It is actually December the 14th, 2018, and I am so happy to actually have you back here for another awesome show this week. If this is your first time actually tuning into the show, of course, I want to encourage you to stay linked down with me. Of course, on Facebook or Instagram, you can also check out the press release on my YouTube channel, Portia Bright TV, for all the exclusives and any other encouragement you want to check out. Now, this week, I have a very special show for you, like I don't every week, right? And in case you didn't get enough of the snowflakes last week, I've actually brought the snowflakes to the show tonight. Encourage you to stay positive out there, stay warm, of course, but I still want to remind you that we are actually 12 days away from Christmas, which is why I wanted to have this discussion tonight. Now, if you've been following the press release, on Portia Bright TV or on the press release Facebook page, then you know this week's show, I guess we're actually going to be talking about the rise of women of color in leadership. And because I actually had to get reinforcements on the show tonight, I actually had to go and find a phenomenal lady who's doing amazing things in the community and abroad all across North Carolina. So I wanted to bring her here on the show tonight. Now, just to give you a little bit of the backdrop. Now, I probably don't have to remind you of the statistics about women in high-level leadership positions across in the U.S. And if I do, let's just put it this way: they are very grim. And of course, most of the time, all you have to do is pretty much look around your office and see about the company and see the people that are actually in your office, and if they actually look like you. Well, that picture is actually beginning to change because women of color are taking on a new position in companies, and it's a phenomenal opportunity. And of course, there are plenty of women who have made it to the top today. And of course, I have my special guest, and I'm going to tell you who she is. Her name is Monica Gibbs, and I'm going to give her an opportunity to tell you a little bit about herself. Monica.
Hi guys, hey everybody. So I can't really see my full self, but I'm hoping that you guys can see me. But
yes,
I'm
you can.
Gibbs, and I lived most of my life in Eastern North Carolina in the tiny county of Pamlico County, where we have approximately about 14,000 county residents. So very small. One stoplight, one high school. I set out to be a TV news reporter and somehow found myself in this political activism world, and it just kind of took a life of its own. And so I'm currently working a project for Mecklenburg County, dealing with reproductive justice, making sure that women are being having safe and equal access to contraceptives and healthy birth outcomes and those kind of things. And I'm also a registered lobbyist where I will be advocating for women's rights at the state level. So that's pretty much.
What?
I'm also a mother of 5. How could I forget that? So I'm a mom.
Yeah. How could you forget that? That's one of the most important positions that you actually have right now. And I think you're doing a really awesome job because you actually have your daughters who are involved in various leadership positions, right?
Oh yeah, they have kind of trod along with me to events, and they have met some very influential people. One of my daughters has been a house page, a governor's page. She did student government in school. She's now residence life president emeritus, and so they're she's a political science major as well. And so they're saying they're not going to follow my footsteps, but I think it is happening. So.
Well, I guess they can't go wrong with that. I mean, you're presenting them what it is to be a great role model and what it means to be a woman of color taking on various leadership positions. What actually made you, when did you get to that point that you felt like you wanted to be the leader of an organization?
Oh my gosh. So I never wanted to be a leader. And as far back as I remember, I always wanted to be involved, but I never wanted to be in charge or that person that would just kind of be responsible for people. So I literally walked into my first Democratic Women's meeting probably about almost 10 years ago. And the day that I walked in, they were holding elections, and I got elected as one of the chairs.
Wow.
I totally green, did not know what I was doing. And so these women took me under their wings and showed me how to, what it meant to work the polls and how to mobilize voters. And went to my first party meeting, got elected. And then from there, I went to the regional level for the women, district level for the party. And then just started getting pulled in different directions, and then found out that I was passionate about the community and what I could do, and just advocating and being a voice for others. So
Wow, that's awesome.
thank you.
Now, of course, with all of that, and women and people looking at you and pretty much pulling you into those directions, and you not necessarily seeking them out, what are some strategies that can help women actually achieve a more prominent role in politics? Because you've basically served in those capacities.
Man, it's the first strategy, and it's not even something that I read. This is something that I did, is just to show up. In order to be a fair representative democracy, I believe that it takes all people, men, women, all different colors, nationalities, to show up and be a part of the table. And we've seen that women have been doing this. I'm so excited about the results of the last election, where we've got a Muslim lady, we've got Ayanna Pressley up north, that has just been the first woman to come into Congress. I mean, so many others. But the first thing is to show up. Next thing I would say is to have a clear message. Know what you're standing for. When you come, don't just come. The time is gone when we used to just show up and be cute and sit in the court. Right. And we need to show up, have a message, and continue to stand.
Right. Now, from our perspective, I think is for women who are eager to actually enter into public service, actually seeing it from, behind the scenes and so forth. I think that they should also keep in mind that women's experiences as mothers, daughters, wives, primary caretakers, as well as employees and businesswomen, as well as community leaders as well, all of them make us uniquely qualified to address a lot of the issues that we have to deal with when it comes to public service and the issues that are facing our families. Because, you got to admit, we have seen the most adversity. We have overcome so many different trials in order to make it to those positions. And so I believe that alone gives us the credentials to be able to handle a lot of the positions that we,
definitely
are up against. What is your spirit animal too? Like,
oh my goodness! When I saw that question, I was like, where does she? I definitely identify with the tiger. Aggressive. I am determined. Tigers are leaders, and that's something that naturally was there. Like I said, it wasn't until I figured out that I was passionate about helping the community and about politics that began to come forth. I think when you find something that you're passionate about, your spirit animal or whatever it is that you possess just naturally comes forth. Mm-hmm. So I definitely would identify with the tiger. Yeah.
Oh, I like that. Now, of course, with you having daughters and things like that, you're learning, you've been molding yourself into being a great leader and things like that. What, from your perspective, is a great leader, and what are some traits that you're instilling into your daughters that leaders must possess?
Just somebody that I always try to be positive. I always try to look at the good in people that I'm leading, to inspire them, to motivate them, to have a clear vision on what I want to see happen, and to work towards it. You can't do everything overnight. In the beginning, I used to beat myself up because I didn't get the results I wanted, or if a candidate lost that I worked so hard for. I didn't understand in the beginning that it's an ongoing process. It's very hard, especially in rural North Carolina, to motivate people. That's a hard job. I go to sleep at night sometimes with the issues that other people have that are not mine, but I take them on because I want to find these ways to help them resolve some of the issues in our community. So definitely to define a leader for me would be just being inspirational and motivating others.
I love it. 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 I'd also like to add to it, it's important to be respected, because as a leader, you have to take on so many things, like you mentioned before, going to bed at night, having somebody else's issues on your mind and trying to figure out how you can help solve someone else's issue. So I feel like it's important for people to respect people who are in leadership. And if they do that, I feel like, we can achieve anything. And also being credible is another thing that a lot of women forget too. You have to know what you're talking about in order to lead. Because
that's another thing. There was a time where when I came in that I didn't quite know what was going on, and I listened and I paid attention. When you go to the meetings, there's information that's presented that sometimes you don't know what's going on. So I would go home and I
right.
would do research and I would come back and I'll be ready the next time to just have a stance
Mhm.
on something. So you always hear
Yeah.
the saying, be able to stand for something or fall for anything. You in politics
Yes.
have to do that, and you have to come ready, bring yourself, and be relatable. If you can't, if working with people is something that you don't like to do, you will have to learn how to do it in this field, because that's all it is people driven, social. That's all
Mhm.
I do. I'm at least 3 events a week. I travel
Yeah.
about 5 hours a day. I do outreach at work. I mean, you really have to love what you're doing. It's not easy.
Yeah.
And so definitely, yeah, all those things.
It's not
It's a
easy.
lot.
You know what? It's so not easy because the thing about it is people will look at you at the top and they'll figure out, oh, I want to be that. But however, when you get behind the scenes and you see what it takes to actually be in those positions, oftentimes people fall off. And so my advice, in terms of someone who's looking at someone in leadership, you never know what someone is going through. So always do the research.
I have
Do
to,
the research
yeah,
on the position.
I don't even want to, I don't even want to get into some of the things that happen behind the scenes. Some of the things we hear. We found that in this state that you run into the same people over and over again that may be
Yeah.
connected to somebody else that worked another campaign and another cycle that now works for this legislator
Yeah.
that you used to.
Yep.
I mean, it's a big circle, and so just remaining in your integrity and just staying, be who you are. That's what I've learned to do, is just be
Yeah.
me. A lot of people will tell you you will not find me in any other way other than who I am, and
Yeah.
that's pretty much